Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stream Squad. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard in Las Vegas.
And I'm Tony Toscano in Salt Lake City. And Jeff, I hear we're taking a trip down Paradise Highway.
We are, Tony. Juliette Binoche plays a truck driver who agrees to smuggle illicit cargo to save her inmate brother, played by Frank Grillo. The cargo turns out to be a girl named Layla, and as they journey across state lines, dogged by FBI agent Garrick, played by Morgan Freeman, who's determined to bring them both to safety.
I have not been this excited to see you since you came from home.
What? Well, you said that was last time.
I asked for one more.
Where's the package? You don't understand. I don't take people.
No way I can promise what'll happen to your brother if you don't take the girl where she needs to go.
It's a topic that's been with us in humanity for a very long time. So yeah, definitely inspiration from that. I also, when I was a teenager, the police busted an apartment in my friend's building because it turned out there had been a brothel there. And I think that incident, because it really shook me and it made me kind of aware of how much this happens right under our noses. So, years later when I started making films, I wanted to tell a story make a film that we want to see about a topic that we don't want to talk about.
It must be challenging as a director when your set is always moving. Blocking and staging a big rig. What was that challenge like?
I mean, I love challenges, and it's probably what really got me excited about making this movie is that it's really hard. Driving in films is a huge challenge from the get-go, and let alone like a 30-ton 18-wheeler. So it's very challenging. What we did is we had our hero truck, which was, a fully equipped regular 18-wheeler. And then we had like a studio on wheels, which was basically like a specially built version of the cab of the truck that made it easier, still very complicated, but made it possible to film inside and outside the truck, both while driving and while at the truck stops.
Casting 2 Academy Award winners in your film, Paradise Highway, the great Morgan Freeman, and Juliette Binoche delivers a raw, emotional performance as Sally. Casting her in an American movie is rare, isn't it?
It's true. Now, a lot of that has been her own choice because she's one of Europe's greatest stars. And obviously after English Patient and Chocolat, she had a lot of openings to work in the US, but she had children. She also got wonderful movies in Europe. She could have her pick of the best of the best. So a lot of it was a choice that she wanted to kind of be closer to family. However, now her children are grown and she's starting to work more here. But this was kind of her first film back in the US, and it's exciting to see her transform in the way that she did for this character.
What do you think audiences are going to take away from watching Paradise Highway?
I think at its core, it's a family. It's a movie about a family, and then there's the subject matter of human sex trafficking, and I think that's an important thing that people should be aware of. Not that it's going to hit people over the head with it, but it's a problem. It's a serious problem we have in this country, and more people need to know about it.
But watching a film like this is also a little bit of an education too in how some of this is done.
Yeah, and I love that you say it's a little bit of an education because it's part of the movie. The sex trafficking is part of the movie. It's not the whole movie. It is the plot device that kind of drives the film. But you're right. Like, films should educate us in some way, I think.
Last thing we need is a bunch of cops running after them with guns drawn.
She needs us the way we needed each other.
Now, Tony, Paradise Highway is in theaters, but it's also on video on demand, so make sure you check your local listings. Tony, Leslie Ann Warren's one of my favorite actresses. She has a new drama coming out, doesn't she?
She does. She's in a family drama called It Snows All the Time. She still co-stars with Brett Cullen, who plays a man who's been diagnosed with dementia.
Something isn't right, Paul.
Okay.
He got up before we could finish the scan.
I want to go home. I just want to go
I
home.
know you're scared, but we have to do this.
Tell me a little bit about Anne, the character that you play in this film.
Well, like Brett, I got to meet and spend some time with Anne. with Jerry, the woman that Anne is based on, and talk to her about how her day went and how she moved through this time with her husband. And one of the things that stood out to me was that she said that she cried all the time, but not in front of her husband and not in front of the boys, to the best of her ability. So I tried to bring that dichotomy of emotion into what my character was having to deal with, which is, this whole family coming out of denial and ultimately into a kind of acceptance, and then, watching them each struggle with their own grief process. She's strong and fierce when she has to be, but she's also deeply heartbroken at losing her husband in this way.
Leslie, I think a film like this needs to be seen because, number one, it shows what people are going through, with this, but it's also saying you're not alone in going through this. There's a community out there.
That's exactly how I feel. I know that when you're going through something and you share it with somebody else who might have the same experience or similar, it's such a relief to know you're not alone. And I think this movie allows people in a bird's eye view, in a way, to one family's trajectory, but it is so universal. And I think people will walk away being moved, but also feeling, I am not alone in dealing with this. And this is, there's a lot of grace in that.
What the heck are you doing? 10 and 2, 10, 2. Ah, you need to relax and not try so hard.
You might catch a fish.
You think it's a good idea to take him?
Dad, yeah, why not?
Keep your eye on him, huh?
It Snows All the Time is playing in selected theaters and will be on video on demand by the end of the month.
And Tony, when Stream Squad returns, we're going to join the Salvage Marines with Casper Van Diem in his new sci-fi series, so don't go away.
I want our son to know a better world than this.
And I want our son to know his father.
Do you even realize what's out there, Sam?
Sometimes we can do things that exclude others.
You're still talking to your friend? It's complicated.
I think he went back in. We gotta go get him.
Welcome to Jumanji!
Even the smallest words and actions can have a big effect on someone. You have the skills. Because of you, someone's entire day, their year, or their life can change.
Remember, the future is in your hands.
Visit becauseofyou.org to learn more.
Totally, let's do it.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Stream Squad. I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
And I'm film critic Jeffrey K. Howard. And Tony, Starship Troopers is one of my all-time favorite sci-fi movies. I understand that Casper Van Diem is back in a new sci-fi series.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you of Starship Troopers. His new series on Popcorn Flicks is called Salvage Marines.
Our galaxy. Humankind colonized space so long ago. The centuries-old conflict has led to endless wars and broken planets. My only way out was to join Grotto's army, the Reapers, the Resource Exploration and Procurement Engineer Regiment, also known as the Salvage Marines.
And was there a big audition process for this, or did they have you in mind from the start?
Yeah, the producer called me up from the start and said, Casper, I got this idea for a series. It's you in space. And then he comes up and goes, hey, you know how I said that? And I go, yeah. He goes, because I said I was in. And then he goes, I found the book series, and it's written by Sean Michael Argo. And then the book the books were written by Sean Michael Argo, and the script was written by Sean Michael Argo and Raphael Jordan, who I know because he used to come to a lot of Starship Troopers panels and stuff like that. He's a nerd like me, And so he is just, I could tell that they were big Starship Troopers fans, and that was also, really exciting because I love that show, and I'm so grateful that I got to be a part of that one. So I'm thrilled that I get to now be don in a suit 25 years later, where people are like, "Wow, that looks like Rico," and I'm like.
Well, it's Rico, times 3 because you're an oppressed person. I mean, you're basically a slave, and bringing a child into that world is not something you want to do as a character, as Samuel.
No, you were born with your life debt and your father's debt, his father's debt, and you hand it down to your kids, and they're just like, it's unsurmountable at that time. Only way to do it is to join the Salvage Marines, but there's an 80% mortality rate. So that's not so good. And then the 20%, that less than 20% that survive, most of them get wounded and they have to like have a new arm or new leg. So then they're in more debt. So it feels like what, and then we start seeing some things. My character starts questioning things. In Starship Troopers, my character was very much like, this is the way it is. That's what I'm gonna do. Yes, mobile infantry is good for that's all I do. So I didn't question authority. I was younger. Now I think I'm older and smarter. And so I, even though I'm still dumb because I still signed up, but I had to because there was extenuating circumstances.
Well, I'm glad you're having fun with this because it is just it's just a great little series. I think it's going to be discovered really quick by sci-fi fans. Are you doing the conventions? Are you promoting it at conventions?
We just got back from Comic-Con. My wife and I. My wife plays Jada in it, so she's a badass in this, and she looks so good. But we just got back from San Diego Comic-Con, and they brought a whole bunch of us in there. They couldn't bring the whole cast because it's such a big cast with so many awesome people, but they brought in 7 of us. So 7 of us were at Comic-Con. We did a panel, we did press, we had so much fun. And we were a family beforehand. We were, like I said, I called up my friends, we called up other friends. My nephew plays young me. So when we're going to stream this on the 28th, we're going to all watch it in my house. We're going to do like a live stream on Instagram and Facebook, and we're going to have some of the cast over here. Some of them are going to do it in LA. I mean, we're all such a family. We're all like, so it's really exciting.
The blood.
Did we just commit a war crime?
Again, Salvage Marines is streaming right now on Popcorn Flicks for free. Jeff, I heard they combined a Western and a horror film. What's that all about?
Well, Tony, saddle up as we combine horror and Western genres as a gang of outlaws fight for their lives when they encounter an ancient creature in the Blackwood forest.
You like gold? We know where enough of it is to make you a rich man.
There are many legends about the Blackwood. So as you travel forth from here, please take caution. Let's hope those stories I've heard aren't all true.
But like I said, I'm a Western fan, but I can't imagine that a genre that'd be more difficult and more fun at the same time to make, especially for a first-time filmmaker. I just think about dealing with the horses, being on location. I mean, the weather, hitting their marks with horses. I mean, there had to be times you're like, man, why did I choose a Western?
Well, don't forget to throw fog in there, and as well as children as well. So everything they tell you not to do when you go to film school, I did it. So, yeah, it was especially with like horses and stuff. You got to take a little bit extra time and care. You can't just rush through it because the animals, they're gonna do what they want. You kind of gotta coerce them to kind of make sure they stand right there and not decide to go eat off camera, and so there's a lot of finessing, but we made it work. We were under a time restraint, but we got everything we needed. So, and also having a really strong crew. So for like the Wranglers were very, very important because they would like take care of the animals. But as far as everybody else, everybody was on top of their game to make.
Well, remember what Alfred Hitchcock said, actors like cattle, so.
Sheep, right?
Sheep. I read somewhere that you have a fanatic for details, in your movies and authenticity, because, military fanatics, I grew up with friends who are like war buffs and they would say, that's the wrong ribbon, that's the wrong insignia,
Yeah.
So do you have like Easter eggs in your movie where something's authentic, it's like, oh, that saddle's 100 years old, or he's wearing a certain kind of hat, or did you go that far for yourself or the fans?
Absolutely. So I came up in the art department on movies, production designing. So that's kind of where that detail comes from. You know, if we can do it, let's do it. So as far as authenticity, yeah, like if the saddles that the main characters are riding on their horses, those are period correct saddles. The wardrobe is all period correct wardrobe. We got a really lucky find with the person who provided the wardrobe for us. And the weapons are all authentic as well. We tried to, even though it's kind of it's based on a lore and a legend, and it's got like a surreal kind of feel to it, we wanted to create I wanted to create something that was still authentic as it could be, and I think we pull it off really, really well.
Now, combining horror and Western, Tony, I mean, it's unusual, but it really works. It's a great thriller. Check out Blackwood on demand right now. Don't go away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Stream Squad. I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
I'm film critic Jeffrey K. Howard.
Jeff, I hear that there's a new mockumentary around called Killer Whales.
That's right, Tony. Killer Whales is the story of a first-time documentary director, Donnie Wonder, who stumbles across an unsolved murder. He sets out to make sure the next big true crime documentary, but as a scatterbrained suspects and lunatic director wreak havoc on the set, the production crumbles in spectacular fashion.
Donnie, in a lot of ways, this film is a mistake.
That's a thought. But the dopes at the studio got their hands on my film and they made a mess of it. I don't watch pitch videos, they're torture. But my assistant Jenny watched it, thought it was funny. I watched it, and I took on this project immediately. You have my absolute 100% guarantee that Killer Whales will not be a failure.
So Donnie Wonder is a naive filmmaker. He has this big dream. You know, he's watched all the true crime documentaries that you see on Netflix, and he has this big dream that he's gonna make his own. So he comes to Hollywood with no preparation, with totally just a dream and a naive sense that he can do anything. And he encounters this unsolved murder and he tries to go in and solve it, but he keeps at every step being faced with the realities of both Hollywood and these wacky, strange suspects in this murder case that aren't making anything easy for him. So it's really about the struggle of this man to kind of piece together not only his dream, but a murder mystery.
Yeah, because true crime is the most popular genre right now. They're huge on Netflix. Everywhere you look, they're the most highly rated shows. And I love how it's a typical Hollywood story involving creative filmmakers destroying their films. I mean, how many times have we heard that tale happen when Hollywood destroyed young filmmakers? So is that kind of, your experience, maybe a little bitterness or?
No, that's a good question. I think it's more about my own naivete in setting out to make a movie. You know, I think I wanted to, I'm a dreamer, I think, and I'm often confronted with the logistical realities of making my dreams come true. And so I think I was pulling on with that Donnie character. I think I was pulling on my own naivete and honestly, some of the difficulties of, that logistical difficulties that are involved in making a movie. And I wanted all that to feed back into the story of this and ground it in some of my experiences. But I think it really is pulling on my own sort of dreamer, naive, idealist qualities.
Now, Tony, I know you love comedies as much as I do, and mockumentary is my favorite genre of a comedy. Killer Whales really is funny because there's a lot of improv going on, so make sure you check it out on video on demand. Hey, we're heading to another drama here, aren't we?
That's right. Well, this is an adult erotic drama called The Art of Love.
I've kept people at a distance all my life.
We experience time and history as if in a deep coma.
A man and a woman are transformed.
This is an erotic and haunting love story between a professor at Puerto Rico's leading university and aspiring artist from the immigrant Asian community. I chatted with actress Hanju Lee. What about Lee drew you to the script? What about her character did you like?
I think it's the whole denial of stuff. I think that's how people really deal with trauma. She was raped, and she she kind of push it back of her mind in a way that her I think she's bisexual, not like lesbian. So she in a way that she literally just like turned off from men, and she turned off from love too. You know, like she chose Camanindo because she wanted a way out.
Yeah.
That's her ticket because she paid the Camanindo pays for her. So the whole how they deal with trauma, which is completely just like block it and in denial. I feel that's very human. That's how most people deal with trauma as well. So that really drew me to the role.
Along with Kanju Lee, The Art of Love stars Isai Morales, and it is a really heavy, well-done erotic thriller.
You know, Tony, I love me a good erotic thriller, right?
I know you do.
There's a lot more coming up on the Stream Squad, so right after these messages, don't go away. Hi everyone, I'm film critic Jeffrey K. Howard, and I'm joined by film critic Tony Toscano, and welcome back to the Stream Squad. Hey Tony, where can viewers find us on social media?
They can find us just about everywhere. First of all, if you want to catch up on past episodes, visit us at our YouTube channel. Plus, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And next week, make sure you join us for an all-new episode of the Stream Squad as we check out Brad Pitt and his new thriller, Bullet Train.
We'll see you next week.
Hi, there's a gun on.
Shh, run. It's the quiet car. Gotta use your small inside voice in here, son.
There's a gun.